Well, I mean, I think there's a couple of different things. I really enjoy a nice bourbon drink during the winter, like something to kind of warm me up on a cold day, but there's also so many different beers now, like a really robust dark beer, our North Porter, Shout Out the Devil. There's a lot of Alabama beers, but there are other beers that have been available for much longer. Anchor's Christmas beer, Bell's Christmas, some of those, something with a little bit of spice, a little bit of malt backbone, something warming, something that's not going to be super bright and citrusy, because in the winter you sort of want to have a beer that sort of reminds you of the way that it smells when the leaves turn brown and kind of a cold morning. I also really like Sierra Nevada's Celebration. It has kind of a maltiness to it that reminds me of when you walk outside and it's a really cold morning and the leaves are down on the yard. We're in Alabama, so we don't see a lot of snow. But those are things that really trigger it. And also I think your imperial stouts, your very large roasty dark beers or something. Our North Porter would go well. It's got a kind of vanilla hint to it and a little chocolate, and it's something that I think will kind of warm you to the cockles of your heart. Well, I mean, I think there's two directions you could go there. You could either double down on it and do one of the larger, heavier beers, or you could go something a little bit lighter, like an amber or a brown that's still going to give you some of that malty characteristics, sort of that wintry feel, but also not being too heavy. Like if you've gotten to the bottom of a chest pie, like I obviously have a couple of times, you might not want to really double down on a 9% beer. So something like an amber or a brown, I think, really functions well in that category. First off, heck yes. Eggnog is delicious, and I know that's a very divisive question, but there's nothing that makes me happier than after all the toys are open on Christmas morning with my daughter, than being able to get a glass of eggnog, add a tiny amount of spiced rum to it, and just sort of ease into my day. I've liked to make it from scratch at the house, which is a tradition of me sort of doing that. And so I really look forward to that, make it on Christmas Eve, let it set up and do its eggnoggy-nogginess, and just really steer into a skid. Well, I think that if you've got family from out of town, obviously focusing on the regional beers that you love, the state beers that you want to support, I think that's great. Also, I think getting a nice single barrel bottle of bourbon is never a bad gift. But I definitely think because of the way craft beer is, the industry I'm involved in, that giving somebody that might not get a chance to have some of those beers, your cousin from Milwaukee or whatever, to show them a little bit about what's going on here, and hopefully they bring something down for you to try, and it can really bring people together, give you a common thing to talk about, and really move forward.